So you might be wondering why you would want to play the Heal Tempest or Auramancer over a Heal Scrapper or a Support Firebrand. While a Heal Scrapper will generally be better at providing raw, brute force healing power to keep your fellow damage sponges alive, and a Support Firebrand will be much better at providing stability, boons, and other forms of support, the main advantage for running Heal Tempest is that you provide auras, some boons, great Condi Cleanse, and a lot of healing. In terms of the healing, it's actually not that much less than a Heal Scrapper if you play it right and rotate well. And all the while you'll be applying auras which cannot be stripped and provide your allies with unique advantages. For example, a Fire Aura will provide allies with might whenever they are struck, as well as do some burn damage to the attacking enemy at range. And note that it uses your condition damage to determine how much they are burned for, not the allies. So you could run this with Plague Doctors for some memes. A Frost Aura results in 10% less incoming damage for the duration of the aura. A Shocking Aura will stun any melee attacker, and a Magnetic Aura will reflect projectiles. If you rotate effectively, you can apply so many auras to your allies that your aura downtime will be very short. Your allies will almost always have some sort of aura. Quick note here, I noticed that a lot of healers are still very much ingrained with the belief of, I need to save my heals and utilities for when they're absolutely necessary. And while this is sometimes absolutely true, I'd say that 90% of the time it's really not. 90% of the time, you're actually much better off spamming your skills and auras to some degree. I mean, like, don't use them carelessly or for no reason, but as long as you know that your allies could benefit from you providing boons, heals, or auras, feel free to keep the rotation going. Just save your big skills like Geyser, Rebound, and Wash the Pain Away in case of a surprise. It's much better to provide constant and consistent heals than to be overly prudent about waiting for the opportune moment. Your allies will thank you for actually doing your job and healing and buffing them appropriately according to the situation. Many Heal Tempests choose to use the Dagger Warhorn combination, which is a good choice. You have a lot of access to boons, as well as the ability to blast a water finisher and provide both a Shocking and Magnetic Aura through Air 3 and Earth 4. You can also do some small heals in the water attunement. Well, I mean, I say small in comparison. Staff will give you access to Frost Aura through blasting your Ice Field, as well as Magnetic Aura with Earth 3. And you'll also be able to blast Fire Fields, have access to Static Field and Gust, which are better CCs. You can still provide Shocking Aura by overloading air or using Rebound. And above all else, your water skills are just so much better than Dagger Warhorns. It's for this reason that I strongly prefer and recommend using Staff, regardless of what you read on the forums. As per usual, try not to listen too much to what people say on the forums, they're probably wrong. Simply auto-attacking in water will provide your group with some decent heals, and you can use Ice Spike to blast your 2 water fields and 1 ice field. Healing Rain will apply very strong regeneration as well as curing conditions once every 3 seconds. Geyser provides very strong focused heals into an area and is extremely valuable during a push or when being pushed. And of course you can blast Frozen Ground for AoE Frost Aura. And as a final note for Staff, I just like to drop a Powerless Meteor Shower every once in a while just to scare the enemy and secure some bags as well. You've also got Burning Retreat, which is very useful for mobilizing yourself and keeping yourself alive. For food, the Bountiful Maintenance Oil will provide some crazy amount of healing, somewhere around 15% extra outgoing healing. And Delicious Rice Balls will provide healing power and an additional 10% outgoing healing. Both of these can be bought on the trading post, and they're well worth the investment since they will massively increase your healing output. Please don't cheap out on the food. As far as the build goes, of course we're using Full Minstrel. And I would actually recommend that you use the Monk rune, but I'm using the Water rune because I'm too lazy to do PvE. I have a Monk rune on my heal sheet, but yeah, I'm just too lazy right now. So I would recommend the Monk rune, but you can use the Water rune, that's fine. You're going to cleanse a condition when you heal if you use the Water rune. And if you have the Monk rune, I believe whenever you apply a boon to an ally, it gives you a stacking healing bonus. So that actually is better for healing, but I'm just going to run the Water rune, whatever. Since I'm running Staff, I'm running 2 staffs. And the first is going to be using the Sigil of Transference for increased healing by 10%. I'm running a Sigil of Benevolence so that I can get 25 stacks of increased healing power by percentage. And then I can switch to my second staff, which has another Transference Sigil and a Sigil of Renewal, which will heal allies every time you change attunements. So because of the changes to Smothering Auras and Pyromancer's Pussy, Pyromancer's Pussy, I like to run Fire, Water, and Tempest. So first you get power while you're in the Fire attunement, we don't really care about that. Next you could take Lesser Cleansing Fire if you're running Feel the Burn. If you don't want to run Feel the Burn, if you'd rather run the Conjure Earth Shield, what will happen is once you drop this Conjure Earth Shield, you'll get a Fire Aura. It's going to be applied to other allies because of your Powerful Aura trait, which we'll get to in a moment. And then from there you can use the Magnetic Surge skill on the Earth Shield to apply a Magnetic Aura. The downside to this is that the Conjure Earth Shield is on a pretty long cooldown, and the upside to Feel the Burn is that Feel the Burn is on a pretty short cooldown, and it'll also apply some might. Smothering Auras is going to remove conditions from any ally that you apply an aura to, so this synergizes very well with the Auramancer, and you're also going to get increased duration on your Fire Auras. So since we're applying so many auras all the time, we're going to end up cleansing a lot of conditions just from this trait alone. Pyromancer's training we don't really care about. Pyromancer's Pussy. The changes to this trait are actually very beneficial for Heal Tempest, because now what you can do is you can overload fire, use your Feel the Burn, and lay down a fire field. And then once you enter the next attunement to blast the fire field, you're going to transfer a lot of that might that you just gave yourself to allies, and it's going to have a much longer duration. So you'll notice in the tooltip here that the might granted per stack removed is about 26 seconds. It's pretty damn good. So with the water trait line, we're going to get Soothing Mist, and you can apply that to 5 targets around you. Can't be stripped, so you can apply this very consistent passive regeneration to your allies. The Stop, Drop, and Roll trait is going to remove Burning and Chill from nearby allies whenever you dodge, every 10 seconds. The Healing Nipple trait will give you a decent heal to 5 targets whenever you attune to water. Cleansing Wave will remove a condition from nearby allies, 5 targets. Aquamancer's training will give you increased healing to other allies. Your water weapon skills gain a reduced recharge. And here's the most important trait in the entire build, Powerful Aura. Any aura that you grant yourself is granted to nearby allies. This is 5 targets. So for example, if you use Earth 4 on staff, you're going to apply Magnetic Aura to yourself, which is going to be granted to 5 other targets. In the Tempest line, Unstable Conduit will give you a aura based on the overload that you've used. Gathered Focus will increase your concentration. Invigorating Torrents will grant vigor and regen to any allies that you apply an aura to. You could take the Harmonious Conduit if you really need stability, but you probably shouldn't because that's not really your role. I would recommend you just take Invigorating Torrents. Hardy Conduit, I'm already tired of saying Conduit, will grant you protection whenever you use an overload, and protection gains increased damage reduction. Elemental Bastion will heal allies which you grant an aura to. You also get a Frost Aura every 40 seconds if you are struck below 75%. Wash the Pain Away is a very good burst heal, but its initial heal has a very short radius, so you want to try to get close to the allies that need it the most when you're using it. We've already gone over Feel the Burn, or you could take Earth Shield. Aftershock will apply Magnetic Aura and protection to nearby allies, as well as being a blast finisher and applying Cripple and Immobilize to any enemies nearby. Eye of the Storm is an AoE stun break, and it will apply super speed to up to 5 targets. And any ally that receives Rebound will ignore the next lethal blow and receive healing. If they don't receive a lethal blow, they will receive an aura based on your attunement. There isn't really a formal rotation for Heal Tempest, so try to stick to a couple guidelines or combo sequences and adjust your rotation according to what you feel like is necessary at the time. For example, if you're in the front line of a Pug Cloud, you probably want to prioritize Magnetic Aura uptime, and also spamming auras for regen and vigor boons, as well as some heals. So let's go over some basic rotations you can incorporate into your gameplay. The 4 Magnetic Auras in a row combo. To do this, you use Earth 3, and immediately use Rebound after using Earth 3. Once the Rebound Aura procs, you overload Earth, and once you get the Magnetic Aura from that, you can switch to any attunement. I like to switch to Fire because you get a Fire Aura with this build. And then you can either wait for the Fire Aura to go away and then use your Aftershock, or you can use Aftershock right away so that you keep the Magnetic Aura up. From there you can go into the next rotation, but this is also just another type of rotation, so Here's the second combo sequence. The usual water rotation. This is Ice Spike, Frozen Ground for a Frost Aura. Autocast. Ice Spike, Healing Rain. Autocast. Overload Water. Autocast. And then finally use Ice Spike and Geyser whenever you feel like it's necessary. And from here you can switch to Fire Attunement for Fire Aura. And then you can quickly go to Earth Attunement for Magnetic Aura. Overload Earth. And then maybe you want to go into Air to get a Shocking Aura from the Overload if you have time for it. And maybe drop a CC while you're in the Air Attunement. And then you can go back to Water for heals. The Empowering rotation, which is Overload Fire, Lava Font, Ice Spike, Aftershock, Magnetic Aura Detonate, Magnetic Aura, and Detonate. There are other ways you can do this. Sometimes you might not want to waste Aftershock. Sometimes water will be on cooldown, so you can just go straight from Lava Font to Earth Attunement and Magnetic Aura Detonate. And finally, here are some additional notes on Heal Tempest. Remember to use
Eye of the Storm
when you feel like you or your allies could use the super speed buff. Remember that it's also an AoE stun break. The cooldown is pretty low, so again, don't be afraid to spam it if you feel like you won't need it within the next 35 seconds. Burning Retreat is useful to mobilize yourself and keep yourself alive. Rebound will protect allies from going down and heal them if they take lethal damage, or grant an aura if this does not occur. Usually I just like to use Rebound for an extra Magnetic or Shocking aura, since those are the two most valuable auras available to you. But remember, you can use this during a push or when you're being pushed if you have it available. It might seem kind of silly to just waste it for an extra aura, but like I said, most of the time the problem is that healers don't use enough skills, and people start going down because everyone is saving their cooldowns, so maybe just go ahead and use it, or maybe you should save it for later. It's up to you. Healing Nipple is going... I can't say. Healing Nipple is going...